It is Saturday morning, and this is Saturday Morning Cartoons. I know I'm just a couple minutes late this morning, but our day. Oh, I have to read that aloud in case you're not looking. How do we reach out to assholes and other protothelemites with the glad word of Thelema? It's sort of my version of Project 2024 5 or whatever. It's the big plot. Not really. Uh, I am a little late this morning because, uh, first of all, I found out how I can, or Constance and I can enjoy our favorite French uh, television drama series called Nicolas Le Floch. Okay. It's an MTZ or something like that, and it's all in French and subtitles, but it is so good. It's swashbuckling. It's incredibly almost X-rated, and it's so good. And it's all about it's like a detective uh, story uh, of a young marquis who's also in the intelligence service and in service to the King of France. And I mean, it's like Scarlet Pimpernel or Scaramouche, or it's just so good and it's so sexy and it's 90 minutes. And I found it on like a YouTube Prime or something like that, and uh, Constance and I enjoyed it when it was played on PBS. Uh, but we just have a little tiny television set. Our television set is probably over 30 years old, uh, and it's in color, but just barely. But we had to sort of squint to see the subtitles and stuff when we first saw it. But it's just so good, and the music is, uh, but the sets and the costumes and uh, well, this is Saturday morning cartoon, so I'm giving you visuals here. Um, anyway, so it was 90 minutes, and we watched the whole thing and enjoyed it very much. And so we're running a little late. I haven't even walked to the coffee shop yet, so but I didn't want to be late for you and Saturday morning cartoons. Um, Let me try to. I wanted to share with you this something this morning uh, about just what I put up here. How to reach out to assholes and other protothelemites with the glad word of Thelema. Now, in the book of the law, it states, "Argue not, convert not, talk not over much." The reason is you can't convince somebody to liberate themselves. You can't talk them into it. It's not an argument. You could argue it to a point, but everybody's got to liberate themselves. You've got to be liberated before you can behave and function in a way that properly executes your will, your reason for incarnating. Uh, and but because there is so much uh, infinite interpretations of Crowley in the Book of the Law and what it says, uh, uh, people or Thelemites who especially who are just beginning to get a taste of this profound uh, new self-identity as a liberated soul, uh, they really want to spread the word. They want to proselytize, and it's Grady McMurtry says Thelemites are found; they're not made, which is more or less the truth. Uh, so I want to read something here that's sort of based because I wanted to share another point of view of the four powers of the Sphinx. Okay, uh, so let me just read a couple things here. Uh, it will be well for us to remember that it's not everybody's will to be an ambassador of Thelema. As a matter of fact, I'd strongly advise anyone who has an overwhelming desire to bring others into the fold to thoroughly examine their own motives. Missionary zeal is a mask often worn by the most insecure devotee. Can I quote myself again? Missionary zeal is a mask often worn by the most insecure devotee. Argue not, convert not, talk not overmuch. Thelemites do not proselytize, but we are instructed, quote, to look forth upon men and tell them this glad word, unquote. If it is your will to be the bearer of this, quote, glad word, unquote, to others, how do you go about proselytizing? Thelemic outreach must be very subtle because you don't work with other people. You work on yourself. As in magic, all other aspects of your life, you only have yourself to work with. I'm quoting again here. I'm pounding the quote, "Oh, be thou proud and mighty among men. Lift yourself up, for there is none like unto thee among men or among gods." The strength of your character is the most powerful weapon you possess. Your other weapons are your wisdom, your sense of humor, your peace of mind, your relative happiness, your emotional stability. Use the four powers of the Sphinx, Luke, to know. You must first of all know who you are. You must be confident and comfortable with your life as a Thelemite and your self-identity as such. If you're still having difficulty doing this, you have no business trying to raise others to your level of perplexity. To will. You should will to be happy. And to dare, should will to be happy and dare to create a rich quality of life, no matter how modest your resources may be. Then, like a carrier of typhoid, you must share your happiness and your unique lifestyle with those around you, your family, your friends, your co-workers, and believe it or not, your community. Finally, you should cultivate the self-control, this is next power of the Sphinx, to keep silent concerning philosophical or spiritual matters until such time that the people around you are prepared to respect anything you say. How can you get people to respect anything you say? Not by making them think you know more than they know, but by making them realize, even if subconsciously, that you are something more than they are. Many years ago, 50 years ago now, I was privileged to study for a time in Hollywood with Lee Strasberg, the great method acting coach. The theory of the Stanislavski method, in essence, is very simple. In order for an actor's performance to be convincing, something truthful must be going on in the actor's mind. It can be anything that's going on. It doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with the play or the dialogue or even the character's emotional condition. Some emotional truth must be engaging the actor's inner life. And the truth of that engagement is visible to the soul eyes of every member of the audience who recognizes truth when he or she sees it. The audience then interprets the generic truth and projects it neatly upon the actor's character and the specific context of the play. The supreme something can be anything going on in the consciousness of the actor's mind. And for us, it can be anything that's going on inside the consciousness of our will. It is the ultimate truth that can engage the inner life. When you are internally touching that, quote, pure will, unassuaged of purpose, delivered from the lust of result, when you're in touch with that, your audience of friends, co-workers, and community will see the primitive truth with their soul eyes and prepare themselves to receive truth through everything you say or do. Is that making any sense? I've never consciously targeted anyone for Thelema assassination. But over the years, I've introduced a great many people to Thelema. Some of them have gone hog wild like the rest of us and joined the OTO or the AA or both or all of them, you know. But most of them has simply grown a little in their self-realization and tolerance. In both cases, I think the world's a better place and a more thelemic environment because of their conversion. No two thelemic ambassadors can operate in exactly the same manner. Each of us has a unique work and recreation environments. For many years, I worked a modest 9-to-5 office job. But I think that many things I'm about to suggest could apply to almost any of us. First of all, try to broaden your sphere of influence. Cultivate non-thelemic, non-magical friends. If you're afraid their non-thelemicness will rub off on you, then perhaps you're presently not cut out for ambassadorship. Do non-thelemic, non-magical things with them. Carpool to work. Go to lunch with the gang or go to movies or concerts or sports events. You'd be surprised to find out how many things you have in common with troglodytes. That's tongue-in-cheek, okay? In fact, it might It might scare you to death to find out how many things you have in common with troglodytes. Be active in non-thelemic clubs and associations. The most obvious are things like the Society for Creative Anachronism or various tarot or pagan societies, but don't be afraid to really branch out. If you love to read, attend discussion groups organized by libraries and bookstores like Barnes and Nobles. If you love herbs, join the Royal Herbs Society of Herbalists or any of the gatherings sponsored by local health food stores. If you're a vegetarian, find or organize a vegetarian club. If you love movies, join a critics club. If you love music, take lessons or join a band. If you love to dance, take dance lessons. I know it sounds painfully corny, but just who do you think you're saving yourself for? Your drooling comrades at the convalescent hospital? Do you see where I'm going with this? There are many worlds out there where you can be an active, productive citizen, worlds that have nothing directly to do with Thelema or magic or Aleister Crowley. Enjoy yourself. Spread yourself around. Be careful, because you're a Thelemite. And because you're a Thelemite, you're likely to end up ruling some of those worlds. Quote, they shall rule the many in the known. Unquote. Once you've broadened your sphere of influence, what do you do next? Then I quote the book of the law, lurk, withdraw upon them. Success is thy proof. Okay, that's my Project 2025 Thelema plot. There is a where am I here? I'm going to read a short letter in my response from the book Ask Baba Lon, published by New Falcon Publications. Somebody wrote me a letter. I want to convert my local church leaders to Thelema. And I say, note for the purpose of illustration, I've left the spelling and punctuation and grammar uncorrected. Now, I am the worst. I have to proofread and over-proofread. My grammatical errors and typos are notoriously bad. I drive my copy editors insane, okay? When I get the first copy editing proofs back, they use a red pencil, or especially in the old days before we did everything electronically. I'd get my manuscripts back, and they look like they bled to death. Okay, so I'm not making fun of anybody's punctuation or grammar. I'm not insulting their intelligence. But when it comes to formal Thelemic literature, like when you quote from the Book of the Law, it's good Thelemic. It's good Thelemicness to, if you're quoting something directly from the Book of the Law, you should capitalize it and punctuate it just like it appears in the Book of the Law, because it says, change not the style of a letter. So a good Thelemite recognizes another conscientious Thelemite, anyway, in communication. By seeing that they capitalize, like "do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." Uh, People will start off trying to impress you with their thelemic credentials, and they'll capitalize "do what thou will." No, 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 no. I hate that. Uh, so anyway, it's sort of that's the first thing I did when I wrote Phyllis. You know, I capitalized everything, saying, "Oh, see, I'm showing my respect for it." And she said, "First thing you learn, young man, is to don't mess with the capitalization or the punctuation of thelemic material." But anyway, so that's I've left the punctuation in this guy's letter or woman, I'm not sure, just the way they have it, and they started out like that. Okay, right away I went, yeah. Okay, dear Babylon. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of even the law. I've read Crowley's letter to Henry Ford and his method of thelema, which seems to indicate that it is necessary to promulgate the law by writing to industrialists, bankers, scientists, and politicians and the likes. I would include the leaders of local old Aeon churches. The idea being to persuade them using examples from their own fields, be it mathematical proofs or biblical scriptures, than THAN, support the law of thelema and show it has a solid foundation and practical benefits. Why is it I get so much opposition when I do this from both the recipient of my letters as well as from other thelemites who claim such letters hurt the cause? Love is the law. Okay, you get it. Love under will. Name withheld. Dear name withheld, let me begin by pointing out the correct pronunciation and punctuation and capitalization of "do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law," as found in Liber Vel Legis, the Book of the Law. By the wording in your letter, it is unclear to me if you are contacting great industrialists, bankers, scientists, and politicians, or if you are writing only to leaders of your local old Aeon churches. I'm assuming that you are mostly engaged in contacting the latter. Forgive me if I'm mistaken. I don't know the reason you're getting opposition to this idea from other thelemites, but everyone is, of course, entitled to his or her own personal view on the matter. I think it's a good idea in principle. In application, a worthy effort for a knowledgeable and eloquent champion of thelema who truly believes himself or herself up to the task of winning over through charm, tact, logic, and common sense, a person who has completely surrendered logic and common sense to dedicate his or her life to the soul suicide insanity that is the very essence of Chrysalmu thought, Christian, Muslim, or Jew. Rubbing their noses in how stupid they are probably won't win them over. That's why Crowley mentioned industrialists, bankers, scientists, and politicians and the likes, because these people, while many of them may be assholes, many of them are not stupid. Their success and their power prove they are likely at least 90% Thelemite to start with. They are people who have proven they know how to, at least on the material plane, how to discover and do their will. Their success in causing change to occur in conformity with their will makes them pretty damn good magicians, too. That's who Crowley wanted to go after. Powerful individuals who, if properly approached, would be brilliant enough to recognize a good thing when they see it. Not some loser clergyman or will-less spider professor preaching to the choir of their same ilk in their sunless cloisters. The big fish are not caught with the net of mathematical proofs or Kabbalistic arguments of old aeon scripture, but are drawn into the greater sea by the impulse of their own will. That is most likely to happen if they find themselves attracted to Thelema by a successful and compelling example of a Thelemite they admire, someone they might wish to emulate. These, of course, are only my personal opinions, and my opinions can change many times in an hour. If you're being criticized for your efforts, try to be honest with yourself and consider what your critics are saying or trying to say to you. But if you truly can't see the wisdom in the criticism and know yourself to be right, then fuck 'em. I doubt you can ultimately hurt the cause of Thelema too badly. Love is the law, love under will. P.S. Again, please note the proper capitalization and punctuation of our Thelemic greetings as taken from Liber Alvel Legis. If you're going to do intellectual combat in the cause of Thelema against the Chrysalmu clergy, you might want to emblazon your battle standard with a correctly spelled slogan. That's Saturday morning cartoons. Love is the law. Love under will. I should capitalize that first L. Until tomorrow for Sunday school, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. And if you want a good 90 minutes, watch Nicholas LaFleur. See you tomorrow.